Hey everyone. This is the third video of a set that I'm doing on love, and I'm going to be talking about living without love, and this is probably going to be a 6-hour video. I guess it's like living without love and then the loss of love, if that makes any sense. And to start off with, it's fair to say that to date, to this point in time, I feel like as though I've experienced love, or what I believe love to be. I could be wrong, because I don't know, it could have just been something else. There's always a possibility of it not being love. Like, you say you feel something, but then at the same time, because you've never experienced anything beyond that specific level, you don't know for sure, for certain, whether it was love or not. So I can assume that it was love until I experienced something that's greater than what I had run into, in which case it would go down a level. You understand what I'm saying? Like, my thoughts of what I thought love was, it would go down, and then my current experience or what I'm going through at that point would take its place, and that would be my new definition of what love is. But anyways, living without love is and I don't want to come off as rude or disrespectful, or I think this is a joke, because I'm probably going to be laughing a lot in this video. It's just, I don't know, life is really funny, and I don't know, for me it's really funny. For other people it's really depressing. I mean, obviously it has depressing aspects, but I'm just saying, I laugh a lot. It's just kind of what I do. But living without love has got to be the most it's gonna be the most terrible experience on earth. It's the loss of love is it's bad. It's really bad. It's unhuman. What you feel, the pain and the anguish that you feel when you lose something like that is unbelievable. It is borderline irreplaceable. It messes with every part of your body. It makes you sick to your stomach somehow. An emotion just makes you feel physically ill. It messes with your mind. You don't think clearly. You don't. Everything across the board, everything that makes you you just changes. You're no longer yourself. You're just something completely different. And it's strange, because in the last video I mentioned that love, when you have it, it's not corrosive, but once you lose it, it's almost like you lose yourself. Love itself is it's like a symbiote. It's symbiotic. It takes over your body. It takes over your insides. It takes over large amounts of your physical body and emotional body, and what it does is it takes over, then it kind of replaces it, so it actually becomes you, and then once you lose it, you lose the pieces that it took with it. Once the pieces that it took over. So let's make a little illustration here. You fall in love, it works its way into your body, and it takes over your heart. It takes over your lungs. It takes over your legs. Everything. And then once you lose it, because of the way love works, because of the way it attaches itself and then replaces the organs or whatever it touches, and then it kind of it's used as a substitute. Once you lose love, you lose those pieces. And so you no longer have a heart or lungs or legs. And so what happens? You end up in bed all day. You can't move. You can't breathe. You don't have a heart. You can't feel anything. You hit this emotional numbness that's just indescribable, really. I mean, it's like being just absent, I guess, emotionally absent. So you can't feel anything. You hit this numbness, and it's just, there's nothing else. Like, you want to laugh, you want to cry, you want to feel, basically. You want to feel anything, but you can't, at least not initially. And it's terrible, it's heartbreaking. And it's not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. But it happens, and it's hard to deal with, and it leaves a void. Once you lose it, once you lose the organs that love took over, and you lose love, you no longer have certain pieces of yourself, and you have this void, and it becomes just this vacuum. Like, you're willing to like replace it with anything you see, and you kind of hit this stage of like desperation. You don't want to hurt anymore. You don't want to feel the pain anymore that you're feeling. You just want to feel something other than what it is. And so people look for like an easy way out, so to speak, instead of dealing with it. And I feel lots of people have, especially nowadays, everyone I know, or most, I don't want to say everyone I know, but a majority of the people that I know are really timid or scared about confronting things. There's just something in them there's just this non-confrontational attitude that they have, that they can just not only like avoid people in everyday life, but also avoid growing emotionally. And so they avoid it. What do? They example, let's say someone falls in love, and then let's say they lose it, and so they go through everything like I just explained, and so they have this void. And what do? They try to fill the void. And how do they fill it? Maybe alcohol, parties, other people. Maybe they jump from people to people, person to person, looking for someone to fill it. Or maybe just the act of being with someone else, let's say sexually, just the act of that specific action, they feel like as if that will fill that void, but then in the end they end up making it bigger. Like, they make the hole that's left inside them bigger. And it's and everyone knows people like that. Like, everyone has that one friend who kind of just jumps around a little bit. Not that that's bad. I mean, it's just a different lifestyle. But it's just everyone has like a story, and people act the way they do because of certain events in their life. Like, that's what made them the way they are. At one point, we were all the same. Like, we were all in elementary school. I guess that's fair enough, right? And everyone was pretty much on even standing emotionally. And then you grow up and you experience different types of, I guess, emotional tragedies or triumphs. And because of that, it affects the way we are and the way we act. So the difference between two guys, one of them being like the typical womanizer, I guess you could say, and a nice guy, would be any sort of, almost any type of variable. Let's say, let's kind of go with like stereotypes, I guess. Let's say the womanizer and the nice guy were at the same stage at one point. They were both nice, I guess, so to speak, like they were normal. And then what happened? Let's say the first one, he meets a lady, or a guy, either way, and they fall in love, and then it ends up falling through, they get hurt, and all of a sudden they realize that they don't want to ever feel that pain ever again. So they make a choice, they make a conscious effort to never be put in a position where they're that vulnerable. And so because of that, they act differently. They start, I guess, more, not aggressive, but just offensive, if that makes any sense. Like, they're always putting other people in that position. They become like the person who uses other people. Whereas the other guy, let's assume like he had some like normal relationships where it just like reaches this point, then it ends, or he finds someone new and then goes to the relationship, it reaches a point, but he every time let's say he falls in love and then falls out of love and gets hurt, instead of avoiding it, instead of deciding he never wants to put himself in that position again, he deals with the pain, he deals with the anguish that comes with it, and he learns from it, he grows from it. And by doing that, by learning, by confronting it, it made him a different individual than his friend. If that makes any sense. And it's just, I don't know, I feel like I've kind of deviated from what I was saying. But living without love is an experience that I personally would not like to. I wouldn't like to experience it. I have experience with it, and I've had to deal with it several times before, and it's not a pleasant thing. But I would not recommend anyone to avoid it. If you understand what I'm saying, like, I would never suggest to someone that they should do what I made an example of. Like, I wouldn't tell people to make sure they're never put in a position where they're that fragile. If anything, I would suggest that they should put themselves in that position, because even though they do receive some type of, I guess, initial damage, what you learn from it and the way you grow from that point offers you a type of recovery that's beyond the damage that you sustained while in the relationship. Like, you grow past that point, and I guess it's kind of like getting thicker skin, but not at all. Like, it's just you learn how to handle things, you learn how to hold on to things, and you learn how to let go of certain things. And overall, it just makes you more, I guess, realistic and more loving in a way. Like, you learn, like, through getting your heart broken, you learn to love with greater strength, with greater compassion across the board. Everything, it amplifies your ability to love. And I feel that if you're ever in a position where you've been heartbroken, where let's say someone like betrays you, or someone breaks your heart, or like just treats you horribly, and if you're ever in that type of position, I feel the best way to go about it would be to confront it and to deal with it. And a lot of people deal with it in different ways. I'm not going to suggest anyways, because I know the way I would deal with it would drive people insane. So just although it seems unbearable to live without love, it's something you kind of have to learn as you grow up, emotionally, physically, vertically, either way. But I feel like it's something that you need to face. It's kind of one of those things like you need to do to grow up a little bit, and it definitely opens your eyes. You see things differently. You don't your scope as far as life gets infinitely wider after you deal with something like that, and nothing negative comes out of it, if that makes any sense. It's a learning experience. It's something that helps you in the long run and for future relationships. And it is hard. It's the hardest thing probably emotionally you'll ever have to go through, unless you lose someone physically, like if there's a death or something. But I feel like losing love is really up there, and it's worth sorting out. It's not something that can easily be avoided. It's not something that can easily be fixed or filled by just doing certain things. You feel like maybe it'll be fixed if you just try to fill the hole. I don't know. It's just one of those things. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.